Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Pod. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. Got 3 different shows to talk about this week. I kind of skipped last week since I only had the one. So I played up in Paw Paw, Michigan. That would have been 2 weekends ago on the Saturday night. And then last weekend Friday night I played at Crafted here in Bloomington. And Saturday morning I played at the Coffeehouse in Normal. So, yeah, it was a little bit of a, unique experience in the fact that it was a 3.5 hour drive to kind of get there. I got a cheap Airbnb to stay the night, which kind of we'll get into later. But, so yeah, it was like a 20-minute drive from where the show was, and it was pretty straightforward. I mean, the drive there was pretty easy. I was a little worried that it might snow or something or be kind of crazy, but it was a long time in the car, and then you lose an hour, which I wish I would have planned for, but, I don't think of everything, that is for sure. But, so I went to the Airbnb first, kind of got freshened up, I guess you could say, and then I went to the show. I was there about 2 hours early, maybe an hour and 40 minutes early. And giant place, like a lot bigger than I expected. It was called Paw Paw Brewery, or Paw Paw Brewing Company, and it was like giant, pretty big stage. So it was a lot for one dude to kind of fill. I ended up using both of my JBL. I brought like everything just to be safe. I wasn't real sure what the setup was going to be like, but they had this really long, kind of skinny stage. So it was, and it was decorated nice. They had these really cool lights up, and I don't know. It was just, it was an abundance of just things that looked good, and took my time setting up. I decided to go no in-ear. I haven't been doing in-ears lately. I just always go back and forth. I never know. I don't know. I do it once with in-ears in like a long time, like when I haven't done it, and then I'm like, why don't I do this all the time? And then I do it all the time, and there's like a month of like, oh, this is so awesome. I should do it every time like this. But then I have 1 or 2 weird shows where it's just like not sounding right. Usually, and it tends to be, I think, quieter shows, but, anyway, so I just, kind of, and I only had the one show, so I figured if I was gonna, wouldn't be killing my ears too bad, since it would only be one night of kind of loud in a row. But, I don't know, turned out to be good. I mean, that was the most fun show I've played in a long time. Everything was just sounding like really tight, and like my vocals were good. Plus, it's just so nice to get in front of a new audience that hasn't ever seen me, and I don't feel like I'm, and it's not always the audience. Sometimes it's I play at the same bars a lot of the time even, and, I'll play the same set like a few times, then I'm like, I should really not force them to listen to that same, those same 35 songs or whatever I do per 3 or 4 hour set. So, I try to change it up, add some weird ones in, which don't always go good, and I'm not as confident with, and, the crowds are, they're good. A lot of times I will fall back on kind of that normal stuff that I play, but if it's like a weak crowd, it's like I'm, if I'm playing from the bar plus, 5 or 10 extra people that in the bar's seen me 10 times, I'm going to try to change up the set. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is when I was playing this place, obviously nobody had ever seen me before, anything close. So I did, my one-man band performance, which I think was a little bit refreshing for the audience. And I did like all my medleys that I always do. And there was a good amount of older people there that really appreciated that. Wasn't super packed. I got the line that I always get. Oh, I was so busy last night, so we were kind of expecting it to be slow, or I don't know why that always happens, but it wasn't slow. It was probably 20 to 30 people throughout the night, whereas maybe they would normally do 50 to 100. So I don't really know. It's still, people that were there paying attention and engaged, and it was fun. I had a really good time. And then some of the staff came up after and was really, really nice about just the whole thing. And then the lady that booked it, she said really nice things, and she has already booked me 2 more shows there. So that's pretty exciting. I got 2 more over the summer, and I'm going to try to make them into little mini tours. So I got time, it's not till May and June that I'm back again, but I'm really, really going to try to book a Friday and a Sunday as well. And then maybe I'll go up on like a Thursday, or I'll go up on a Monday, or I'll stay the Monday after, because it'll be summertime, which is just kind of like I think it's a better time to be in Michigan. It's a lot of the winter time. There's not too much to do up there, but in the summer it's almost like an ocean town. So I don't know. Looking forward to it. Glad it went well, and it was just good. It was a good trip. I loaded up. The time change thing threw me because I booked an Airbnb, but I really, really didn't need to, and I really wish I would have paid a little bit more attention, because you lose an hour on the way there, but you get an hour on the way back. So when I was done, it was a 7 to 10 spot, but in Illinois time, that's 9 o'clock, even though it was 10 there. So if I would have been packed up by, it was done 10 o'clock there, 11 o'clock would have been headed out, and the Bloomington or Illinois area, I would have been, 10 o'clock. I could have made it home by 1:30. That wouldn't have been that crazy of a thing for me. Obviously, it would have been a lot of driving in one day, but it would have been nice to sleep in my own bed. The Airbnb I got was, $60. So, it wasn't anything too expensive, and it was a really nice little place, a nice private little area, and I don't know. It was very comfortable, but, that's money I could have saved. The bar gave me free food, which was awesome. They gave me like a big meal. So it was pretty exhilarating. It was a good, there was one thing I had to, when I was driving back to the Airbnb. Now, this was a little bit off the beaten path of where the show was. It was a 20-minute drive, which was interstate, but then off the interstate is kind of back in it's like a little wooded area, and I saw like 10 deer off to the side of the road. So, that was a little, because there was part of me that was just like, I'm just going to roll the dice and drive home. It would have been a waste of the Airbnb, but I just feel like would have got better sleep if I would have, did the long haul home and slept in my own bed. But I saw those deer, and I was like, I got to be cautious. And obviously that was probably the right choice, because it would have been, if there's 10, 15 deer there's a good chance that on that whole drive home I would have seen a few more. So, but overall successful. It was just a nice little excuse to get out of town, and hopefully gonna use that as like my base show for a couple other places up in the Michigan area to get back up there, because they have lots of like breweries and wineries, and I think that I'll have a pretty decent chance of being able to make it back. So, well, I'm already definitely making it back at least the twice, but hopefully making little tours out of it. And I've decided that I really need to do this with like all the surrounding states. I really want to become more regional because I go all over central Illinois, but I want to really expand, because the more I expand, the more I'll be able to fill out my calendar. It's more driving, rough around the car, but 3 to 4 hours in any direction I should be down to do. And if I can string together a few shows in these little runs, then it just makes it way more worth it, because you're going from one place, staying the night, not driving there and back and there and back. That's kind of the goal. But also, a 2-hour drive is no big deal if I'm going just round trip, 2 hours there, 2 hours back, 4-hour round trip. not too terrible, but I'm going to really try to, I'm going to try to get some Iowa, some Indiana, some Michigan, some Wisconsin. I would like to get more Southern Illinois places as well. And eventually, Tennessee. I would really like to get Nashville. That's, of course, a much longer drive, but if I got a couple places in Central Illinois, I could stop there and then head down to Nashville and maybe hit a place on the way back. There's lots of potential, but the other places, I feel like it's more probable. Like, I could definitely play at a lot of places in Michigan. I would just have to, it's about emails, really. Just emailing a ton of, email 100 places, maybe 10 will get back to you, and then 5 you'll actually book. So you do that in a bunch of different areas. It's like you can eventually get these like regular places. And yeah, one might fall off at one point, but if you keep at that and keep building, I feel like I'll be able to, get this giant circuit of shows. I'm really hoping. But anyway, so that was the Saturday night, so that was good, getting my feet wet with that kind of idea in mind and getting used to the driving and all that. But so then the next weekend I played Friday and Saturday. I was supposed to have a show at Door 4 Brewing on Saturday night, but they canceled on me kind of last minute, so I picked up a Coffeehouse show, which they're super nice to just let me play for tips and just kind of set up my tip jar and my little merch thing. And it's it's invaluable practice. And the only thing that isn't my favorite is that it's pretty early, so I can never really quite get my vocals moving. But anyway, so Friday I played at Crafted in Bloomington. It was an indoor show instead of outdoor, because the other few shows I played there have been outdoor, and it was definitely a different vibe. It was more of a coffee house vibe, and that's fine. I really did like way less gear than I was thinking I was going to do, and I think that worked out, made me a little less stressed and just easy going. And a few people came out to see me, which was nice, and there was a few people there to begin with that were just there, that happened to be there. And nothing too out of the ordinary for that show. I started playing my Christmas set a little bit, just a little dull, I know, but it was pretty rapid, very quick. Just run through some of those tunes. You can only play them one time a year, so just kind of ran through them. But overall, the show, I feel like I played pretty well. Tried some weirder songs, because I know a lot of the people that were there had seen me kind of quite a few times, so I was like, I'll just try to mix it up a little bit. But nothing too out of the ordinary. Everything went pretty good. And then Saturday morning, like I was saying, always a rough start, but it was better than last time, and I brought less stuff even this time, and it was a lot quieter, which I think for the coffee house was good. For me, it was worse. I was feeling a little less confident without the volume, but probably the right way to go. And I don't know. It went fine. It went, like I said, it went better than last time, and that's all you can really hope for. I can't say I was ecstatic about the performance or anything, but I played it pretty safe, pretty cautious, and for the first hour or so. And Dave stopped by. He had his bongos with me. He played a few tunes and then cruise, but it was kind of nice to see him. We hadn't really gotten together to play in a while, so it was a nice, kind of change things up a little bit, and played a lot of original songs. And I always, if I can always do that, if I could always do that, I'd be happier, I think. But I get a lot of them in the 3-hour sets. I get probably an hour's worth of originals per 3-hour set, which is still pretty good, but I probably played a little bit more on maybe more like an hour and a half at the coffee house. And then I did some kind of random covers that I don't really play that often. So, and then I had Saturday night off, but I didn't sleep real good after the Friday show for some reason. I slept for maybe 45 minutes and then had to get ready at like 9 for the Coffeehouse. So that was a little bit of a bummer because after the Coffeehouse, I didn't crash right away, but when I crashed, I was kind of down for the count, and I needed it, but it would have been cool to like actually do something fun or, social. But instead, I just kind of took it easy. But I probably needed to do that, so I set dates for the releases on stuff. I went ahead and set the date for Good Friends, release date January 1st, and I'm probably going to have a video made for that. I found a guy on Fiverr that does some pretty cool stuff, so I'm looking forward to see how that's going to turn out. And then February 15th is going to be the digital release for the Pandemic Relief Live EP, and I think I mentioned I got the test pressings of the records, and sounded pretty good, pretty cool, pretty good, pretty cool. And I'm working with Ryan Wolf. He's helping me kind of make a promo video for that, so that'll be exciting. I'm probably gonna wait till January, but really gonna start trying to finish the home recordings for the last the second EP, or the disc 2 of the last Unemployed Architects album, at least for a while. And I'm probably gonna start that in January, so I'm gonna be working pretty hard on that. And that's pretty much it. I don't think I got too many other exciting things going on. Just kind of, I'm going to really try to get the Weft videos I made, I'm going to get those recordings onto SoundCloud, so that way on the TyJon Charlie page. So just something new to get up there. I don't really pay too much attention to SoundCloud, but I don't know if I should, but I probably should. I should pay attention to a lot of things that I don't. But so yeah, I'm gonna try to work on that a little bit, maybe in the next couple weeks. Hopefully get that promo video done, and then I'm gonna release that as a podcast as well, even though it'll be pretty short. But I wrote a little bit about the project, and I kind of just read it verbatim, which isn't something I do a lot. Usually I just kind of wing it, but kind of talks about the project, and there'll be some accompanying video and some of the actual live performances kind of edited in there. So that'll be something cool to kind of push out there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This coming week, it's kind of a busy week. I have 3 shows: Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Thursday I'll be at Clark Bar, Friday I'll be at Houdini's, and then Saturday I will be at Gig's Place in Fairbury. So be a busy weekend, but I kind of need it, so that'll be good. Anyway, I appreciate anybody who takes the time to listen, and I will talk to you next time. Have a good one. Bye.